This one mistake keeps popping up in my live sessions with my students, and it's probably sneaking into your Portuguese too. And today I want to fix that, because remember, it's not just what you're saying in Portuguese that will make you understood by locals, it's how you say it. So today I'm going to teach you how to stop mixing up your E's and I's in European Portuguese so your accent sounds sharper, your confidence soars, and those everyday conversations with natives get a whole lot easier. My name is Liz. I'm a language nerd, a pronunciation drill sergeant, and also creator of the Portuguese Pro program. So I've helped hundreds of speakers just like you go from tongue-tied to sounding like a local in a matter of months. Like Jenna, who on multiple occasions when meeting her boyfriend's native speaker friends would be complimented on her pronunciation when she spoke. It feels incredible when that happens. So if you want that kind of reaction too, make sure you've got my free pronunciation guide. It comes with native speaker audio and drills the 7 toughest sounds in European Portuguese. The link's in the description. So back to the mistake that keeps coming up in my live sessions with my students. They are confusing E's and I's in Portuguese, and sometimes it creates some pretty amusing moments. So there are several E sounds in Portuguese, but right now I'm talking about the E sound, which is the mid-front unrounded vowel. When I teach this, I shorten it to mid or middle E to make it easier to remember. This is the E we want to use in the word ser, meaning to be. So if I pop that into a common phrase like this, we should pronounce it pode ser. But my students keep putting an E sound in there instead, saying pode ser. We had a real giggle in a recent workshop when a student said the word apenas, which means only or just, but it came out sounding like a penis. So I told them the E that we want is like the E in pen, not penis. And that really helped them remember. So why does this happen? It happens because your English brain is trying to help you, but it's actually working against you. In English, we're used to the letter E making lots of different sounds depending on where it appears in the word. So we will use the E sound, especially at the end of these words. Think of these words: me, be, he. Okay, that's all the E sound. It's also the case in words that have the suffix ese, so words like Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese. So when English speakers see a word like apenas, the brain automatically thinks, oh, I'll just apply my English pronunciation rules here, but that's exactly what we need to retrain. So understanding the different sounds for E and when to use them will really transform your Portuguese pronunciation. Let's go through the E sounds that we have in Portuguese and use the IPA symbols to help us. What is IPA? It's the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is a system of symbols used to represent the sounds of spoken language. It was created to provide a standardized, consistent way to write how words sound, regardless of their spelling or the language. And it's really helpful for language learners because it helps you pronounce words accurately. It removes any confusion caused by irregular spellings, which happens a lot in English, and it helps teachers like me describe sounds precisely. So let's look at a word in Portuguese and see how we would spell it with IPA. The word is prédio. So the highlighted symbol there is the symbol for the open mid-front unrounded vowel sound. Too long to say, so we'll shorten that to open E. And it's used in words like bela, quer. So when should we use this? We're going to use this when there is an acute accent on the E or when the syllable is stressed. Now, if you don't know about stress rules, you can check out this video where I go over the rules in detail, but here's a quick recap. Wherever you see an accent, that's where the stress is going to go. But if there's no accent in the word, the stress is going to fall on the penultimate syllable. Then we have E, which is what we've been talking about today, which we call the middle E, used in the word português. You'll find it in more words like talvez, mesmo, francês. Now it is quite similar to the open E, it's just a little less open. In fact, in English we barely distinguish between the two, but in Portuguese the difference is subtle but important. So we're going to use this middle E when we see a circumflex accent on the E or when the syllable is stressed. The third sound associated with E is This is the closed central unrounded vowel, and it sounds like this. We're going to use it especially when a word ends in an E. So words like pode, disse, bebe. So use this when the E comes at the end of the word or if the syllable is unstressed. Finally, we can use the sound E in Portuguese, but we're only going to do it when that E is standing alone and it means and. The only other time we're going to use the E sound in Portuguese is when we see the letter I, like in the word cliente or fila. If this breakdown is helping you out, drop the word pronunciation in the comments and I'll send you my free pronunciation guide. It does come with native speaker audio and draws the 7 trickier sounds in European Portuguese so you can start sounding sharper, faster, and this really is the foundation for real confident conversations. So how do you know when to use that middle E sound? It's actually going to be a process of elimination and I'm going to make this super simple for you. Ask yourself, is the E standing alone? If so, then it's going to be E and it's going to mean and. Is the E an unstressed syllable? Then it's likely to be that soft closed sound. In all other cases, you're looking at either the open or the middle E, and since they're so similar, you've got a good chance of getting it right. You can be sure that if the E has the acute accent, it's going to be the open E, and if it has the circumflex accent, it's going to be mid. So let's test you with some real examples that you'll use every day in Portugal. Here's the phrase. Which type of E are you going to use? Because the E comes at the end of onde, it's going to be that closed sound. What about this one? Because it has a circumflex, that is going to be the middle E. Fala inglês. Middle E. Here's the next phrase. Yes, hopefully you've got it. It has that acute accent on it, so it has to be the open E. É para mim. And finally, this word. We've got 2 E's there, and if you remember those rules on stress that I was telling you, both of those E's are going to be unstressed because the penultimate syllable is cool. So this will be desculpa. So both E's are going to be the closed So there you have it. You now have the tools to get your E's and I's right every time and sound much more natural when you're speaking in Portuguese. Remember, when in doubt, think pen, not peen for that middle E sound. Practice with words like apenas, português, mesmo, and you'll start to understand the difference. Your Portuguese pronunciation journey doesn't have to be frustrating. With small adjustments like this, you'll find that communicating with your new Portuguese neighbours becomes so much easier and more confident. If this video helped, you will love what's next. We go even deeper into the nitty-gritty of perfect Portuguese pronunciation in my free hour-long workshop for beginners. Sign up using the link in the description and let's supercharge your conversation skills together. If there are other Portuguese pronunciation challenges that you're facing in your daily life in Portugal, drop them in the comments below and I'll be sure to address them in a future video. I'll be back next week with more tips and tutorials to improve your confidence and conversation skills, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Ciao for now.